Performance analysis by Scott Cragg. As you can see, I've highlighted Kevin De Bruyne as I've noticed how vital and effective he is within Man City's midfield and how they attack as a team. My main aim is to provide evidence to back up my point as to why Kevin De Bruyne makes such a massive difference in the Man City team and how he creates so many chances. Very influential in midfield for Man City, he's vital for their quick transitions from midfield into attack, looking to play the ball forward and very rarely backward. You can see by this slide, De Bruyne got 20 assists in the 2019-20 Premier League season, 7 more than the next person in the league this season, which means he set a lot of Man City's goals up. Man City went on to score 102 goals that season, which means De Bruyne assisted nearly 1/5 of their goals, which shows how important he is in creating chances for them. He also made 32 through balls, which is 13 more than anyone else in the league this season. Backs up why he starts Man City most weeks, because he's always putting the defenders on the back foot by creating important chances. This shows that De Bruyne likes to move forward with the ball, and even though keeping possession of the ball is key to winning games, it's important to move forward with the ball and not just pass the ball in the defensive half of the pitch. Date 1988. As you can see, in the bottom right corner, De Bruyne gets plaudits from pundits who previously played football at a high level and is seen as one of the best players in the world and definitely one of the best midfielders in the world. This is backed up with a photo of his match stats. This is in a game against Chelsea, that are also challenging for the title. This shows that even though he's playing against a quality side, he still prove his quality and come out on top by scoring a goal, 3 chances, and making 13 passes into the opponent's box. Therefore, gives his strikers a chance for a incident. Another statement which shows how influential he is Man City is BBC Sport when they said how good his distribution was. 7-0 victory against Leeds. Although, if you increase the amount of possession you have in the final third, then the more chance that critical which De Bruyne can settle for his teammates. When talking about dynamical systems theory, controlling a system, 3 elements are involved: the person, the environment, and the task. Newell, 1991. This is where behaviours change during the game due to high or low skill, e.g. losing or gaining possession of the ball. For this, I'll be looking at the stable state, which is how the game carries on in the same state and isn't interrupted by a lot of possession. 1985. I will also be looking at perturbations. Sometimes you will lose the ball by playing a poor pass to the opposition. These perturbations can be seen as events that have contributed to the opposition scoring a goal. O'Donoghue, 2010. The final thing I'll look at is the critical incident, which is shot on goal, Hughes et al., 1998. Even though his passes won't be critical, they aren't a defining moment in the game, his assists are, which set up the critical incident, so he plays a big part in the goals. The methodology is what I have used to analyse De Bruyne's performance. The table on the left is what my KPIs are and their definitions, so it's clear what they are. On the right, it is my buttons template on Knack Sport, how I coded De Bruyne's passes, how successful he was in his passing in different areas of the pitch. On my buttons template, I have KPIs which are in the picture before. They are the things being analysed. As you can see by my buttons template, it is like a flowchart where I've identified the player, the position on the pitch, the action, for example, pass or cross, and the outcome, successful or unsuccessful. This buttons template is a good way to analyse performance and create data because it is done electronically, so therefore it is easier to spot mistakes, easier to exploit to Excel, where you can create graphs or charts where you can identify a problem or strengthen your findings. Therefore, with this electronic use of coding, it is a more reliable source of data and there are less chances of human error. This image here is, and we did this to find out the intra-rated reliability. We did this on a game on a different player to what our actual assignment was on, therefore we could see how reliable the coding was. To make sure it was reliable, we did the same game twice to ensure no bias in either game, or to ensure we got an accurate result which matched up for both games. As you can see from my Kappa score, 0.88 shows there is a good amount of agreement with both the times I did the analysis, as McHugh, 2012 backs up this point, says 0.81 to 1 as almost perfect agreement. Edwards and O'Donoghue, 2004, used Kappa to determine their strength and interoperator agreement for the type of pass, caught area of pass, player making the pass, and outcome of the passing netball. This is very similar to my use of the Kappa score, and as there is past research, it shows that this for passing is a good use analysis, and it's good way to find out how reliable my analysis is. I ensured my analysis was valid by making sure I was getting the correct result I needed from the test I was doing. For example, analysing the passing and seeing what was going well for De Bruyne. Validity is the relationship of what we want to measure and what we are measuring. Roberts and Priest, 2006, have backed up. It shows the importance of my button template, where he's playing the passes and where he's most influential for the team. Miaka, 2011, said objectivity is an important requirement for effective coaching analysis and accurate and reliable data. Showed the objectivity by using a notational system used in Frank's 2004. This is good because it involves the KPIs and definitions, so therefore the analyst knows exactly what to look for, and therefore there will be no subjectivity. The Kappa score was vital at the start of my analysis. It meant that I could make sure my buttons template and analysis was going to be reliable and wouldn't be at a disadvantage at times. It also meant that I could find out what I wanted to find out. As you can tell by my findings, Kevin De Bruyne is very important in keeping possession of the ball and creating attacks for Man City. Clement et al. 2015 have said, central midfielders like De Bruyne are vital for building the attack through cooperation. Therefore, I have identified De Bruyne and how vital he is for Man City's attack. If you look at the first graphic, you can see how good he is with getting the ball in the final third to try and create chances for the forward. This is proven because 71% of his passes in the final third, which shows the effect he has with keeping the ball and creating attacks. It shows how influential he is with how well Man City are doing, as whenever he gets the ball, his first thought is forward to create something instead of playing it safe. This will be why his through balls are sometimes unsuccessful. Other players may not be on the same wavelength as him. The defenders might read the pass. This determines the cohesion of the team. For example, if it becomes a recurring issue, Bruyne is passing it to the opposition because his teammate is not reacting to his passing in 2019. An idea for implication for practice design could be De Bruyne getting the ball from the centre back under pressure and to play the ball forward to start the attack. However, he isn't always looking forward. As you can see in the second graph, when he has the ball in either the final third or middle third, he also thinks about the situation of the game. When he needs to, he controls the play and plays the safest option by just playing short passes to a teammate who is around him. On this graph, it shows that 95% of his passes are successful, which means he is key to Man City when they're keeping the ball. This is important because if Man City are winning by a small margin, he doesn't want to take many risks, which would lead to perturbations and maybe even conceding. This is backed up by Lego Panas, 2009, because he says keeping possession of the ball is one of the most important elements to winning a game of football. You can control the tempo of the game while the opposition don't have the ball. This would therefore lead to a stable state of play as it is a rhythm that isn't interrupted by losing the ball, for example, poor pass or poor shot. When he gives the ball away by doing one of the above errors, it will become a perturbation. A poor piece of play resulted in losing possession of the ball. Rahane and Godboot, 2013, backs up. An idea for implication for practice design is getting in a circle with one or two people in the middle, and the aim is to keep it away from the defender in the middle of the circle. The third graph shows that De Bruyne's accuracy when playing a long ball, whether it's forward, a through ball, or sideways. 72% of the long passes that he tried were successful. Good, as in his position, sometimes the players near him are marked and must play a ball over the top of the defender, play to someone in space so that they can carry on their attack. However, saying this, 53% of long passes decrease the chance of a successful pass. Therefore, the more long passes he does, the more chance of it not making it to his teammate, and therefore losing possession. Sarmento et al. 2018. This therefore results in a perturbation, as Kelso, 1999, says. Perturbation exists where the usual stable rhythm of play is disturbed by extreme elements of high or low skill. In this case, it would be a piece of low skill play. De Bruyne lost the ball by trying a long ball instead of excellent defending in most circumstances. De Bruyne is very good at varying his passing hard for the defenders, where they can stand to try and stop the attack. The fourth graph shows that he got 8 assists, very good for De Bruyne in his position, as that's what his job is as a midfielder. These 8 assists came in different methods, for example, 4 crosses, 2 through balls, and 2 forward passes, all in the final third. As Kuwaithe and Muhammad, 2010, say, the performance attributes include goals scored for forwards and assists for midfielders, It means it's very important for De Bruyne to get these assists and give the forward for a goal. Short pass in the middle of the pitch, so sideways to a teammate, is less effective than passing it to a teammate in the opponent's penalty area. McHale, 2018, is what De Bruyne does so well. Therefore, he gets so many assists. As you can see on this graph on the right, De Bruyne is hardly ever in the defensive third midfielder, and he's normally in the final third or in the middle third, looking to play forward. Therefore, he creates so many chances during the game because he tries to support the attackers as much as he can every game. Representative learning design (RLD) is a framework for assessing the degree to which experimental or practice tasks simulate key aspects of specific performance environments. Krause et al. 2018. This is to ensure action fidelity and functionality and ensure the relationship between practice and performance. Brunswick, 1956. This means that when designing a training session, you need to make sure it replicates the performance environment to allow performers to get used to playing in that setting and improving on that setting where they would be in a game. If this doesn't happen and the performers train in a setting where there are no task constraints, then they aren't going to improve in a game situation, putting in the practice outside of the game scenarios. Representative learning design helps analysis describe a theoretical framework for interpreting the functionality of learning environments. Therefore, it will help me trying to design a session because I know what my data shows, so I can create a drill which is realistic to a game. This drill is designed to make sure he's quick with the ball under pressure, but also his passing is accurate. The drill consists of De Bruyne being marked in the middle of the circle with teammates on the outside of the circle, and getting the ball whilst under pressure and firing an accurate pass to his teammate. The aim is to get him to receive the ball, turn to pass it to another player, then receive the next ball. Therefore, he's always switched on, looking for the next ball, midfielders. So the link to my data. I've chosen to focus on passing under pressure for De Bruyne, as I've noticed that in his position during a game, it's very common for him to be under pressure and needs to find the right pass still. De Bruyne is always looking to play forward when he can, as you can tell from the graphs earlier in the presentation. It's important to keep the ball and turning to play teammate. This will explain why I've done this drill. You're receiving the ball under pressure from an offender and having to play an accurate pass to make sure in a game he is keeping possession of the ball and isn't giving the ball away. The main thing I've done for my session is to keep the pressure on De Bruyne, so I'm keeping my key task constraint. So therefore, it's more game realistic than him just passing to another person, as that wouldn't just happen in a game very often. This is good because it focuses on his passing as a whole, one position of the pitch. This is good because if you look at the graphs throughout the research, then you'll see that he is vital for Man City by keeping the ball. If he's finding this easy with one defender, putting him under pressure when he's got the ball, then we can make it harder by adding another player into the middle of the circle. So therefore, there's two players marking him. So it's harder to get the ball and release it. They are likely to him before he can. This is linked to constraints-led approach. To summarise, Kevin De Bruyne's main aim for Man City is to create chances for the attackers and to get the ball up the pitch. The big thing for creating chances is to do with transitioning up the pitch to catch the opposition out, so they don't have time to regroup and get into position and defend properly. This is why I've done a drill where he needs to get the ball and turn quickly. So, for example, if the defender's passing the ball, then he can receive the ball and turn and pass it forward to the wingers or the forwards. This again reiterates why it's important that De Bruyne can use a variety of passes, so if there's no short pass on, he can play a long pass over the top. De Bruyne also takes corners for Man City, which shows that they trust him in delivering good balls into the box, even though sometimes they may not be successful. He's good, and it's sometimes the attackers in the box which don't attack it, which makes it easier for the